This is the worst, dude. This is the worst intro that I have ever done. Okay? And I'm almost a little ashamed to have tried to pass that off as podcast entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Guys, this is Unpopular Opinions Solo List Assault Super Nintendo Countdown, dude. Solo List Assault V2.5. That's right, after this ep, we will be halfway through the Super Nintendo Countdown. Now, I'll admit it, ladies and gentlemen, last time I went completely off the rails. I didn't know who I was talking to. I didn't know what I was talking about. This little twerp named Magic Mike, this card shuffling freak, dude, got in my head. He got in my head. And before I knew it, I was doing Macho Man Randy Savage, oh yeah, impressions, okay? One time I got pulled over for going 82 in a 75, and I was wearing a Macho Man Randy Savage shirt, and the cop thought it was kind of cool. And I didn't think he was very cool because he pulled me over for going 7 over, dude. I did have a New York license plate, and I was like in Texas or Oklahoma or something. It was when I was moving from New York to Arizona, so I was a little 22-year-old whippersnapper. You know, where this is back in, I think it was 2015, because it was the second time I'd ever driven to Arizona. But this guy pulled me over, and I was like, I was doing 7 over, officer, and he didn't give me a ticket, but I got like a written warning. I got a written warning of like, hey, you did 7 over. And I was like, frick, man. Frick. That was the same reaction that I had when I learned that I was no longer eToro's most handsome spokesperson. These guys got Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin sponsoring eToro. You know, eToro, the place that you can go and trade 15 different cryptocurrencies with up to the second information in regards to price, value of that particular coin, of that particular crypto. You can do that all on eToro, okay? And what else you can do on eToro is you can go in there and you can go into a virtual portfolio where they'll give you $100,000 of fake virtual money to work with. Now, you can't cash this out. You can't say, okay, give me my $100,000 of virtual money and then I'm going to cash it off real currency. Let's go to the bank, run me a check. You can't say that. Well, you could say it, but they probably wouldn't agree to it. I don't know. Go ask them. While you're there asking them that, ask them why they replaced me with Alec Baldwin. eToro, guys, if it's up to me to ranking the ways you're going to trade crypto, eToro's number one. It's number one. In the You, Me, and BTC boys, we're having a bit of a contest. That's 3 bits of contest because I think that there are 3 in us right now. I don't know if Ferguson and Joe, the boys from Is It Worth It, are doing it, because those are a couple of bozos. I'll tell you what. If you're listening to them, you're listening to a couple of bozos. A couple of very, very entertaining, occasionally thoughtful, most of the time don't know what they're talking about. Zach makes fun of Joe a lot. Very funny, very entertaining. Go check it out. That is It Worth It? The newest show on the You, Me, and BTC network. Which now I'm not eToro's most handsome spokesman. I'm not the newest show on YouMeAndBTC.com. If you could do me a favor and when you're checking out eToro, YouMeAndBTC.com/trade. This is not my full-time job. It's not Dan's full-time job. It's not Tim's. Dan's other co-host is Zach, who I have never met nor spoken with, I don't think. But it's also not his full-time job. It's not Joe's full-time job. It's not Zach's full-time job. Okay. So anything you can do to help us out helps us put more energy into these podcasts. And honestly, that's really what I would like to do. Disregard the fact that nobody would like to listen to more of me. I would like to be able to tell my 9 to 5 to hit the bricks, because I'm going to the recording studio and I'm about to drop some fire. And I'm not talking about fire like rappers say this is fire. I'm talking about literal fire. I promise you, I will burn Dan Brown's house to the ground if you go to youmeanbtc.com/trade. We will get a pile of old leaves. We'll pour gasoline on it. We'll rub 2 sticks together really fast until it creates a spark that catches these gasoline doused leaves aflame. And there goes Dan Brown's house, dude. And it's as easy as that. Okay? It's as easy as that. So I'll live stream it. I'll live stream it. If you'd like to see Dan Brown's house burn down, I rented him a motel room. It wasn't that bad. It was like $200 for the month at a time. And there aren't any beds or anything. It's actually a U-Haul storage container, but, I've been renting one of those out to keep some old books in and stuff. And I said he could stay there if enough people go to youmeanbtc.com/trade. And I end up having to burn his house down because he knows the rules. He knows the rules. And if I tell people on the internet that I'm going to burn his house down, then he knows that that's what's going to have to happen. Number 60, guys, we're going to be halfway done here. You know what I'm saying? Like we are finna be halfway through this 100 item list. The Super Nintendo is my number one video game console of all time. I think it has the best games. I think it came out at a time where we needed something like the Super Nintendo. Yahin? Like these days, if there was no Xbox, whatever, PlayStation would just do better. If there was no Nintendo Switch, maybe PC sales would do better. Super Nintendo, it filled the void. You know what I'm saying? And as you grew up, the Super Nintendo grew with you. You know what I'm saying, dude? The Super Nintendo, it knew what you needed. It knew when you needed to be caressed with masterpieces of art like Super Mario World. It knew when you needed to be punched in the dick with action. It knew, dude. That's why we had great sports games like NHL 94 and Tecmo Super Bowl. And that's why we had great action platformers like Mega Man X. Super Mario World, it could be pretty hard. And then once you got the hang of it, it's like an old friend. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's like the first time you do opioids again after a long time away. Just the warm embrace that takes over your body. And you remember what was so great about it. Go ahead. I dare you to go play a Super Nintendo game, a Super Mario World from your childhood. Go play it now and try not to be happy. Try not to feel that tingle spread from your balls to the rest of your body. You can't do it. You just can't do it. Number 60, Super Double Dragon, released in 1992. I've never actually had an orgasm from playing Super Nintendo. But there's a first time for everything. Guys, I haven't plugged my Twitter yet, but I've recently pretty much switched over from at Ryan Tofil on Twitter. I'll still acknowledge you if you hit me up there, but I'm doing most of my activity at Beef Stew Harp on Twitter. If you ever had an orgasm because of a Super Nintendo video game, tweet me a video of it, and I'll make sure to watch it, and I can give you a 1 through 5-star rating. If you know anyone, maybe you've got some relatives or friends or like your mom or your grandpa or something, ask them if they've ever had an orgasm because of a Super Nintendo video game. And if they have, try to get a video, of the incident happening, and if they don't have a video of it, just record them, ask them to reenact it and record that and send it to me. You'll probably be banned forever on Twitter, but I'll get to see it at least before it's taken down. And like I said, I'll give you a rating 1 through 5. And if anybody can send me a 5-star video of their Super Nintendo gasm, then we'll send you some free troll coin. Okay? I miss an opportunity to say Nintendo orgasm, but then that it kind of sounds like door. Anyways, it's been 12 minutes and all I've talked about is coming on top of a Super Nintendo cartridge, and eToro, and Alec Baldwin being more handsome than me. And I haven't even talked too much about these games, dude. The Super Nintendo podcast, that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about the game, so let's get to it, man. The Super Double Dragon, released in 1992, developed by Technos and published by Trade West. A policewoman named Marion has been kidnapped by the Black Shadow Warriors. Also, she was a narcotics officer who was investigating their drug trafficking operations. Also, she was a martial arts student at the Lee Brothers dojo. So then, Billy and Jimmy decide to, forget it. Since when does anybody care about the plot of Double Dragon? I care about the plot of Double Dragon a little bit because I've never played this particular game. All I know is it's rated number 60 on your list, dude. Review from Sid Lexia saying this game was way better than Double Dragon 3, but I don't like it quite as much as Double Dragon 2. It's certainly prettier, though. Next up is a genre that I never really got into, but I definitely can see the appeal to. I've used this comparison before whenever something that comes up that I don't really like, but I know other people like. This scenario's come up before, and I've said Star Wars, dude. I don't love Star Wars, man, but I do definitely understand why other people could like Star Wars. It seems cool, man. They're out in space, they're blasting stuff. We got incest, brother and sister kissing, dude. That's hot. That's hot. I understand why people go for it, dude. Just like I understand why people go for the shmups, dude. The shoot 'em ups. I just like saying shmup. You know what I'm saying? It sounds very, very dirty. Like whenever I call up a phone sex operator and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And they're like, talking to you, baby. And I'm like, oh, do you want to know what I'm doing? And they're like, what are you doing, baby? I'm like, playing Super Nintendo. And they're like, oh, what genre are you playing, baby? And I'm like, shmups. You know what I'm saying? I can just tell that that's what sets their loins afire. I've used that line more than once and ended up with them paying me. 'Cause that's how sexy the word shmup is. Number 59, R-Type 3, the Third Lightning. Blast off in the latest R-Type model and repel the invading forces of the BYDO Empire in this insanely good side-scrolling space shooter. Fight your way through all 6 intense stages and defeat the BYDO mothership. I don't know what that is. Beto. Don't know, dude. R-Type is, quite a decent series, though. It gets a lot of love, and for good reason. Like, these are really well made games. And if you like shoot 'em ups, if you're a shmup man and you like the Super Nintendo, okay, and you want a Super Nintendo orgasm because of the shmup, R-Type 3 is a good place to start. Number 58, Mortal Kombat 3, released in 1995, developed by Sculptured Software, under license from Midway, published by Williams Entertainment. After Shao Kahn was defeated by the Earth Realm warrior Liu Kang in the last Mortal Kombat tournament, his insane plan to merge Outworld and Earth Realm seemed to have been permanently thwarted. Unfortunately, it wasn't. That's a pretty good analysis. He thought this was going to happen. It didn't. Shang Tsung resurrected Shao Kahn's dead wife Sindel in Earthrealm, thus allowing Kahn to enter Earthrealm to reclaim her. When he did, he was able to merge the two realms, killing billions in the process. The god Raiden was able to use his power to I was trying to say protect, but I can't do it. I can't talk lately. Like 2 episodes ago, man, I was having this problem where I just couldn't get any words out, dude. It's because I get too pumped, man. I get too pumped about Super Nintendo! Super Nintendo orgasm, dude! Shmups. That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, if your preferred console doesn't give you a little tingle in your belly, if you don't get happy while you're thinking about it, you know what I'm saying? If it doesn't want to make you put your favorite nipple clamps on, then is it really your favorite console? No, it's just a console you like better than the rest, dude. It's not a true favorite, man. I'd smash my dick with a sledgehammer to save the Super Nintendo. Never mind. I wouldn't do that. I take that back, dude. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't burn Dan Brown's house down. Nobody's house is getting burned down. Okay? I'm just going to say it. Go to youmeanbtc.com/trade. I'm not going to burn down Dan Brown's house and make him live in a U-Haul storage bin. Anybody who is actually looking forward to that, you are a monster. Okay? You are a sociopath. You need psychological help, man, if you are looking forward to that. And for that to even cross your mind, dude, you should be ashamed of yourself. I got started on this tangent because I couldn't say protect, okay? The god Raiden was able to use his power to protect a few warriors, and he charges them with the task of separating the two realms by defeating Shao Kahn and his allies. The playable characters include Shang Tsung, Sindel, Jax, Sonya Blade, Liu Kang, Nightwolf, Curtis Stryker, Kano, Smoke, Sub-Zero, Cyrax, Sector, Cabal, Kung Lao, and Shiva. I promise you that I said more than one of those names wrong. I don't know if I ever played Mortal Kombat 3. I was 3 years old when it came out, so I don't think that my dad was going to be like, here you go, my preschool-aged boy. Play this extremely violent, blood-laden game. He wasn't going to do that. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to do that. Now, he was a good dad. He let me do a whole bunch of things. When I saw Randy Marsh on South Park microwave his testicles so that he could get medicinal marijuana, I wanted to do the same thing. And my dad, he said, you don't do that because you don't want to get cancer. Also, if you slam your nutsack in the microwave. Also, I have referred to genitalia more times in this episode, like 10 times more than I ever have in all the other episodes combined. Okay? So I'm sorry for that, dude. Balls are funny. Like, the word scrotum is funny, man. It's funny, and I like saying it, okay? So if I want to say scrotum instead of giving an actual review of Mortal Kombat 3 because I'm stalling for time because I've never played Mortal Kombat 3, but I need to make sure that I have enough content to put out a podcast, then who are you to stop me? You're not my dad watching me put my nuts in the microwave. You're listening to the podcast, dude. And if you don't like me talking about sack cancer, Randy Marsh, South Park, dude, then if you don't like me talking about that, then why do you want me talking about Mortal Kombat 3, a game I haven't even played? I played Mortal Kombat 1 on the Sega Genesis. I played it on the Super Nintendo. I played Mortal Kombat 2 on both. I like Mortal Kombat 2 better on the Super Nintendo. Mortal Kombat 1 was better on the Sega Genesis, okay? There's my analysis of this game. There's my analysis. My analysis of Mortal Kombat 3 is I can't pronounce most of these people's names. Plays Mortal Kombat 2. I can't pronounce those names either, but I'm more familiar with the game. I'm not good at Mortal Kombat. I'm not good at Street Fighter. I don't know all their combinations. I'm not good at Super Smash Brothers. That game doesn't even have a ton of combinations, and I still can't play that. This kid used to invite me over to his house all the time to play his GameCube. And he was like, yo, dude, come on over. We're going to play some Super Smash. And I'm like, well, okay, dude. I talked to like Rocky or Bullwinkle. Yeah, man, it wasn't Rocky the Flying Squirrel, man. It was Bullwinkle J. Moose, man. Well, okay, Ryan. That was his name too, dude. That was his name too. And I would go over to his house, and he was a nice guy. We haven't talked in like 10 years, but he was a nice guy then. We played soccer together in high school, but I would go over to his house, and he would wipe the floor with me, man. I'd walk in there, and he'd turn into friggin' Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, Macho Man Slim Jim, bring me off a slice of that Slim Jim. That's what he would say, dude. I did my Macho Man impression. All my good Macho Man impressions were last episode. They're all terrible. They're all terrible. All my Macho Man impressions are terrible. Oh my gosh, they're so bad. They are so bad. All my impressions are terrible. What else can I? Oh, I can do Mickey Mouse. Oh, hey, Pluto. Minnie left me, and I think I'm going to kill myself, Pluto. Oh. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's straight from the cartoon. You wouldn't know if that was a clip of Steamboat Willie or me doing an impression. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hey, Pluto, I never played Mortal Kombat 3. Oh, I don't know why Minnie was cheating on me with Donald Duck and you, Pluto. You're a dog. That's gross, Pluto. Oh. Number 57, Jurassic Park. These were two solid games on both the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. The second one may have been better. I don't think that the second movie was better. I think that the second Jurassic Park movie was the worst out of the original three. I don't know how many of these Chris Pratt reboots there are now. I only saw the first one. The woman wouldn't take her stilettos off the entire time. She's running from a gosh darn T-Rex in the middle of the jungle. She's getting her stilettos trapped in mud. Like, just get rid of the shoes, woman. You Gwyneth Paltrow looking redhead in the white dress in the middle of the forest, and you gotta leave on your stilettos, dude. You are trying to outrun a velociraptor. Take off your heels. It was supposed to be completely safe, but Jurassic Park, Dr. Hammond's exotic island zoo of cloned dinosaurs, has turned into a living nightmare. Someone shut off the electric fences and now the dinosaurs are loose. As Dr. Alan Grant, you must complete two missions. First, you must rescue Hammond's grandchildren, Tim and Lex. Then, you must get the power back online so that everyone can escape. I don't know what I just said. Hang on. I don't know if if I said that Jurassic Park was the same on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, that's not what I meant. Just that they had Jurassic Park games on both systems. Because Sid Lexi is saying that, like Aladdin before it, here's a case of a Nintendo game and a Sega game that were completely different despite having the same name. Okay. So I was confusing Jurassic Park with Jurassic Park 2, and I was calling Jurassic Park 2 this thing that was actually Jurassic Park on the Genesis. On the Genesis, Jurassic Park 1, I like better than Jurassic Park 2. I don't believe I've ever played the Super Nintendo version versions of these games. So I apologize again. These games came out in 1993 and I come in blind, okay? So that you can just experience the raw emotion. What do I say, dude? What do I say at the beginning of every podcast? And I said, I'm going to give it to you one way, and the way I'm going to give it to you is raw. I'm not out here rehearsing my lines, dude. I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'm not trying to hide that, okay? I come out here and I let it flow. I let it flow through me like the salmon in the river, dude. And I'm going upstream and I'm hopping and I'm floating. Okay. And so if you're a tuber coming down the stream, get ready, bud, because this unpopular opinion is going to hit you in the face and slop around like a salmon. I'm a flopping salmon, dude, on the river of Super Nintendo, and I'm not afraid to admit it, okay? Because when you're going upstream, there's only one way to go because that's the way you're going. You could go the other way, but that's not the way to go because it's not the direction you need to be. Number 56, Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers. Released in 1994, developed by Capcom and published by Capcom. The third and final iteration of Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo. Super Street Fighter 2 improves upon the Street Fighter 2 turbo engine with some altered moves, some new animations, and 4 new playable characters. T-Hawk, Cammy, DJ, and Fei Long. Except for Cammy, all of the new fighters suck, says Sid Lexia. I mean, does anyone ever start up this game and go, you know what? I'd really like to play as T-Hawk today. No, they don't. No one likes T-Hawk, DJ, or Fei Long. Actually, some people like Fei Long, but those people are idiots. When I want to play as a Bruce Lee ripoff, I'll take Liu Kang or Martial Law. Honestly, I can never keep track of the Street Fighter 2 games because all of them were released by the time I was 2 years old. What's going on? Okay, I'm in my crib flopping around just trying not to choke on some breast milk or baby formula or Legos or whatever babies eat. Okay? You know, I remember eating the wood off my crib. And it just filled me with nourishment and warmth. And I don't know if I still slept in the crib when I was 2, but maybe I was 1 month old. When I was 1 month old, I ate an entire wooden crib. And my dad was so upset with me that he said when Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers comes out in 1994, you're not going to play it. Because you ate all of the wood from your crib, little baby. And so as a result, I don't think I ever played this game growing up. I don't remember what version of Super Street Fighter 2 I had. I was only allowed to, don't freaking tell my mom, dude, but I'd be in elementary school and I would come home and my dad would be home because he worked like 7 to 3, but my mom worked until 5 o'clock. So I could have like an hour after I got home from school and I could play Super Street Fighter every once in a while. He'd also let me play the game Spawn every once in a while, but I wasn't allowed to tell my mom. And then one day my mom made him take these games to Funko Land, the store that was in Erie, Pennsylvania, before GameStop. I don't know if GameStop bought Funko Land or whatever. He made him trade them in to GameStop freaking Funko Land, dude. I'll literally never know what version of Super Street Fighter 2 I played while I was in elementary school. I'll never know. I bought the Super Street Fighter 2 Championship bullcrap Switch, whatever. It came with all the characters and everything. So, like, I didn't even realize that Cammy wasn't in the regular one. Well, actually, I guess I did. I don't know what version's on the SNES Classic. The Street Fighter games are pretty good. I don't really know what this altered moves mean. But this was, they turned down the speed a little bit, they turned down the difficulty, and then they gave us 4 new highly forgettable characters, says Valdronis. Number 55, Battletoads and Battle Maniacs. Released in 1993, developed by Rare, published by Trade West. Now what this game was it was kind of like a remake of Battletoads on NES. That notoriously difficult Battletoads that people still, to this day, call up GameStop and ask if they have a copy of because it's so darn funny. This was like a remake of it. I don't think it was as good as the original. But it's a decent game. It's a decent game. It's still Battletoads. It's still fun. I just don't think it's as good as the original. And look, man, this is called Unpopular Opinions for a reason. Number 54, Super Bomberman 2. Released in 1994. Developed by Hudson Soft, rest in peace. Published by Hudson Soft, rest in peace. If you don't know what that kissy sound is, that's because I'm patting my chest with my fist twice, and then I put two fingers on my lips and then throw up a peace sign as I make a kissing sound, like I'm kissing my two fingers. And that's just what you do when somebody has passed away, as Hudson Soft has done. The second of 6 Super Bomberman games released for the Super Nintendo, and the last one to get released in America. In this game, Bomberman has been kidnapped by the 5 Bad Bombers, a group of evil cyborgs with plans of world domination. Bomberman awakes in a dungeon on the spaceship and must fight his way through the labyrinth vessel. This is worded, hang on. It's just kind of like spaced out weird. Fight his way through the labyrinth vessel and defeat Magnet Bomber, Golem Bomber, Pretty Bomber, Brain Bomber, and Plasma Bomber. There's also a great multiplayer mode that supports 2 to 4 players. Sadly, it lacks a co-op story mode. No co-op story mode. Next. I was trying to yell like those guys in the Wizard of Oz, but I haven't seen the Wizard of Oz in freaking 15 years. I don't know exactly how they yell. Super Bomberman's cool, dude. It's cool. If it wasn't cool, they wouldn't have made one as a launch title for the Switch. They know that people like Bomberman. And I think that was a great move to release that early in the Switch's life. I wish they would have made it much cheaper. It would have been great as like a $10 game because it wasn't that good, but you could have 8 people play at one time. And I think it would have been a great way to reinforce the idea of community being a big part of the Nintendo Switch. And I'm not talking about the TV series community. I'm talking about community, not community college, but like playing with friends. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. This is where that freaking dude from Demon's Crest came from. I talked about him last episode. Yeah, man. Number 53, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, released in 1991, developed and published by Capcom. This is the third game in Capcom's Ghouls and Goblins series, set 4 years after the events of Ghouls and Ghosts. Arthur and Princess Prin are just about to be married when a demon swoops in that was me rewinding, dude. When a demon swoops in and kidnaps Prin. Arthur pursues the demon to a graveyard where he suddenly finds himself face to face with hundreds of horrible monsters. Arthur will have to battle these ghouls and ghosts, enter their realm, and defeat the demon emperor Sardius if he wishes to save his true love. Oh, and he'll have to do it twice if he wants the good ending. Sorry, man. I need to brush up on my evil laugh. That was not my best effort. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. It's hard. I don't know what else to tell you. It's hard. Especially if you don't play the game the way it wants to be played. If you go in and you're like, oh, I'm going to play this like I'm playing Mario. No. You gotta play this one strategically, man. You can't go zooping and zopping all willy-nilly, man. I don't got time for this flim-flam. Oh, dude, you gotta be strategic, okay? If you play this game the way it's designed to be played, now I'll admit, there's not a ton of flexibility. Okay. Now that's something that a lot of great, like upper echelon best game ever conversation games is a common thread throughout them. Okay. That they have flexibility in the way that they can be played. Any Mario game, dude. You can take different strategies. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want the fire flower? Do you want the whatever that game's version of the flying power up is? Okay. Are you trying to sprint through and kind of get in a rhythm where you run, jump, run, jump, run, jump? Or do you kind of play it more methodically and avoid individually each enemy instead of trying to react to them, you know, where you're going left, right, left, and then jumping and you're stopping and you're seeing the pattern and stuff. Super Ghouls and Ghosts makes you play methodically. It makes you play the way that it wants to be played because it's too difficult to do it any other way. This game had a double jump feature, which you don't see in every game. I don't really know what my opinion is on that. I just wanted to mention it. And it's a Capcom game, dude. Like, how many Capcom games are we going to see on this list? Again, I said this, I believe it was last episode. They're kind of starting to mush together for me because this is now my 5th. But I think it was episode 4. It honestly may have been at the beginning of this episode. For all you know, I've been doing these back to back, and I'm just an hour 8 being locked in a room by Dan Brown, made to review the top 100 Super Nintendo games of all time. Please send help. Please go to youmeanbtc.com/trade. Number 52, Gradius 3. This is a shmup. Just like R-Type 3. Every shmup was named 3 on the Super Nintendo, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I have the exact same review of this game as I do of R-Type 3. I've never played it. I don't really love the shmup. I love saying the shmup. I don't love playing the shmup. It's the exact same review. It's the exact same review. I haven't played a ton of it. I don't know exactly what's going on with it. I don't have a lot of shmup experience to compare it to. But from a lot of people I respect in the Super Nintendo realm, like SNES Drunk, like Sid Lexia, I mean, I don't know who else is out there that I like really. SNES Drunk he's the best, boys. It's like my dream to one day get SNES Drunk on this show, but he's getting too popular. He's getting too popular for me to have. I'm not as popular as SNES Drunk, dude. Sucks, man. Gradius is made by Konami. It's a good shoot 'em up. If you like shoot 'em ups, you'll like this game. Mega Man 7, released in 1995, developed by Capcom, published by Capcom. Dr. Wily is at it again, and it's up to Mega Man to stop him. Battle against 8 new robot masters: Freeze Man, Junk Man, Burst Man, Cloud Man, Shade Man, Spring Man, Slash Man, Turbo Man, as well as Bass, Guts Man, Proto Man, and Wily himself in the 7th installment of the original Mega Man series. This is the first Mega game that has any sort of plot. Like in the NES versions, 1 through 6, you just get thrown into these menus and stuff. I believe this was released right. Oh, Macho Man, Randy Savage voice got me coughing. Oh, dude. It's better to be coughing than in and coughing, which is where Macho Man is. Frick, dude. I miss Macho Man. I do. I never appreciated Macho Man enough until he was gone. So with Mega Man X, Mega Man X2, Mega Man 7, then Mega Man X3, I don't exactly remember when Mega Man Soccer came out. It's very hard for me to form a timeline on the Super Nintendo, because by the time I really got my wits about me in terms of not being an infant anymore, like much of the Super Nintendo life cycle had passed. There were very few games where I was like looking forward to the release of on the Super Nintendo, just because I was so young. I mean, I entered kindergarten in 1997. 97, 98, I was in kindergarten, and those were the years that the last Super Nintendo games were released. So I wasn't like super savvy about upcoming releases on the Super Nintendo at that time. Mega Man 7 is a very, 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 very good game. It has to be. It has to be number 51 on this list. It's another Capcom title. It kind of gets the same treatment as Donkey Kong Country 3, where it's not the best in the series, so like, why are we messing around with it? It's not even the best Mega Man series on the Super Nintendo. I mean, everyone knows that Mega Man X and Mega Man X2 and Mega Man X3 were better than Mega Man 7. So it's not quite as good as those. And some of the charm was lost when the mainline Mega Man series went from NES to Super Nintendo. He wasn't as blocky. He wasn't as tiny. He wasn't as cute anymore. Yaheen? So it's just one of those things where he's like not as charming. Like he looked more like a real dude. And it just kind of lost something when it went to 16-bit, at least for me. Now, I don't think that it lost something when we went to Mega Man X. Mega Man X is awesome, dude. Listen to Ego Raptor talk about Mega Man X. He loves that game. Probably his favorite game of all time. But Mega Man X, he was cool, dude. He was like if Mega Man got the Sonic the Hedgehog treatment. You know what I mean? Mega Man X was like if Mega Man did the cocaine. And Mega Man X was really, really cool. Mega Man 7 was just cool. But you know what's really, really, really cool? You. You are. Yep. You listening right now. And you know why you're really, really, really cool? Because you made it to the end of the podcast. And I've done a few of these in a row now. I'm getting a little tired. But guys, thank you so much for listening. I do a lot of joking around and stuff while I'm talking about these, and maybe you'd like me to be more serious if you would just like more straight reviews of these Super Nintendo games, then just let me know. At Beef Stew Harp on Twitter. That's the handle I've been most frequently engaging with lately. I don't think I've used my main account in a couple years. I only really brought my login back into existence is because Dan Brown wanted me to have some way for people to get in touch with me. And so instead of kind of rolling with that, Brian Chai had created a Harp parody account that he named Beef Stew Harp, and he gave me the login and stuff so I could take it over. So check that out on Twitter at Beef Stew Harp. It's not real fleshed out yet. I've only got like 10 followers. I'm only following 10 people, but check out at Beef Stew Harp on Twitter. I don't know how I started talking about my Twitter, guys. If that's just how you can best get in contact with me, if you'd like to do so, but I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for listening. Oh yeah, the reason I was talking about Twitter was because if you would like me to change up the format of the show at all, if you know, maybe you just really, really, really like straight up Super Nintendo news. You don't need me talking about ball sacks and ovens, and you don't need me talking about Randy Marsh versus my dad. If you don't need those things, then let me know, because I'm so thankful for each and every person that listens to this podcast that I just want to give you the best listening experience I can. So if you have any tips for me. If you have any preferences, if you have a topic you'd like me to cover, either in a solo list assault or with one of my co-hosts, whether it be Brian Chai or Dan Brown. I know Bradley Evans is planning to come on very, very soon again. I can invite any of them on if you have any special requests or anything like that. So guys, thank you so much for listening. If you go to youmeanbtc.com/trade, that helps me out immensely. It lets us know that we're actually reaching people as well, which is a really, really cool thing and can help us stay motivated to keep cranking out these podcasting content. And I know we're not the best, team of podcasters in the world, but, speaking for the boys on Is It Worth It and on You Mean BTC podcast, and even Tim, as much as he sucks, we all put a lot of work into these, and it takes work to write these short articles that go along with them. It takes work to edit them. It takes work to try to be entertaining on the podcast. It just takes work. And I'm not getting rich off this. No. I'm really not getting anything. It's just all, being able to talk to people and reach people. And, if you like what I'm doing now, a great way to support me is going to eToro, by going through youmeanbtc.com/trade. Or reach out to me on Twitter at BeefStewHarp if you have any suggestions for me in the future. And maybe something I'd like to do is even have somebody from the Twitter world onto the podcast one day. And I don't know if I have 1,000 more episodes left in me or not, so I might not get to episode 1,000 and have a special occasion where all the fans come on and everything. We might have to do it on episode 27. I really don't know. But yeah, all that to say, I've tried a bit more eccentric style, and if that's not been for you, and we have hordes of people out there who dude, just shut up and tell me about these Super Nintendo games, then I'd be more than happy to do that, because I'm really thankful for any chance that I do get to do this. So whatever I need to do to keep giving myself that chance, I'm going to try to do just that. So thanks for listening to my 5-minute long monologue after my 40-minute long ranting and hollering about the Super Nintendo, guys. Once again, I'm Ryan Tofil. This has been Unpopular Opinions, Solo List to Solve, version 2.5 Super Nintendo Countdown. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. I don't know when you're listening, but whenever you're listening, I sure am glad that you are. And I really, really, really appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.